Hey guys, M13 here. I'm in Naiwan. It's kind of a touristy type place. It's up in the mountains, a little town up in the mountains. Big market area. And in my mirror we have Donnie and his brother. His brother's visiting. Donnie and his brother, they're both half Taiwanese and half American. And his brother, I think, hasn't been here since, I think he's visited once, but he lived here until he was 3, and then they moved to America. And he doesn't speak like any Chinese, but he kind of understands it, because when he was a child he was fluent in it, but he's forgotten it all since then. But when people speak to him, he can understand a bit, but he doesn't really know how to answer back. It's kind of interesting how that works. It's hard to imagine that a child, like at 3 years old, a child has a pretty large vocabulary, so it's pretty hard to imagine knowing a language like fluently and then forgetting it all. Oh, the dragonflies. So yeah, Don, his brother's only been here a couple of days. If he has been here, it's been like 8 to 10 years since the last time he was here, if not much longer. We got the perfect weather for riding up in the mountains. He's from Arizona, so it's all just desert. So they've got mountains there, but none of this vegetation. And that's the end of this topic, because I don't have anything to say. No, let's keep going. I got my tour coming up for September. It's kind of crazy. I had 4 people, for the longest time I had 4 people coming for the tour, and the maximum is 8. And I had 4, and 4 is, it's almost, 4 people is pretty much the absolute minimum for me doing a tour. If I only had 3 people sign up, I probably wouldn't even do the tour. I would just tell them it's not enough. 4 is like the absolute minimum, so that's what I had. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm doing a tour with the absolute minimum, so I'll make next to nothing. With 3 people, I'd probably lose money. With 4 people, I'll come out ahead, but not by much. So I was like, okay, well, and then nothing I can do about it. And then all of a sudden, in the last like few weeks before the tour, I had 3 more people sign up. So it went from 4 to 7. It's like, which is almost double. It's kind of crazy. So it's been a bit of a headache for me, because every time someone signs up again, I have to excuse me. I have to phone back all the hotels and change the reservations, and then I have to try to like procure yet another vehicle for the group. The last guy, it's a week and a half until my tour starts, and the last guy just booked like 2 days ago, and I'm like, you're booking a week and a half? That means you have to like buy plane tickets and all this like a week and a half before the tour starts? Nuts. Most people book like 6 months or longer in advance, and then all of a sudden I got these 3 guys that are booking like a couple of weeks in advance. So so it's been a bit of a hassle, and then I found out, unluckily, that the week that we're doing our tour is the same week that China has like a long weekend, like a 4-day long weekend. So all the hotels are booked, because half of China is coming here for vacation that week, specifically that week that I'm doing my tour, and I didn't know. So it's not a Taiwan holiday, it's a China holiday. So yeah, but oh yeah, and this is kind of interesting. I had my first black guest on my last tour, and it was funny because I got really excited about it. I'm like, I got a black guy coming on my tour. I literally like, yeah, just we use a chat program to I invite everyone that's doing one of my tours. I tell them to download this app. It's a chatting app. It's not popular in America, but it's popular in Asia. And they all download it, and then I add them to a group, and then we go into this chat group, and we can chat before they come, so everyone gets like familiar with one another before they come out here. It helps just to help us bond as a group or whatever. And and with them for the last group, I'm on the chat app, and then I some of the guys don't have avatars, and I say to them, you know, put up a picture of yourself, put up a pic so we know what you look like, and that way when everyone shows up, you guys will recognize each other. And one of the guys was black, and I was like, I lost it. I'm like, I was excited, and it's funny because I was excited. I was very happy. I was just like, because I've never had a black guest, and when it comes to black people, my general stereotype, the stereotype that I placed foremost on black people, is that they're cooler than white people. So in general, like, it's kind of like if there was two elevator doors that opened up at the same time, and inside one was a white guy and inside the other was a black guy, I would get on the one with the black guy. I'm a reverse racist against blacks. I actually, you know, prefer black people. So yeah, so I was excited that we had a black guest, and that was my first ever. And then on this tour, I've got two, and I'm like, what? So I'm making lots of racist jokes, but it's just joking. I'm like, okay, well, there goes the property values in Taiwan, etc., and so forth, and making black jokes. But they've always been good. My guests so far have been great. They've got a sense of humor, which is also what I've found generally the norm with black people. They usually have a better sense of humor than white people. Yeah, so it's also because when I was growing up too, my best friend when I was like, I don't know, from a very young age, like grade 2 or 3 up until grade 8 or so, from like grade 3 until grade 8, my best friend in the world was a black guy, and I was always at his house eating with his family and stuff, so I just kind of grew up around black people. So yep. I can remember once as a kid telling my mom that I wish that I was black. And she's like, no, you don't. And I was like, yeah, I do. I didn't understand it. It was kind of funny, during the last tour, I was at a hotel. I got to the hotel before my guests arrived, because they went somewhere for lunch or something, and then I went ahead to the hotel to confirm everything and check our rooms. And while I was at the hotel, I said to the hotel owner, I'm like, yeah, one of my guests is black. And then she immediately took that in the exact opposite way that I meant it. And she's like, well, they're people too, you know. And I'm like, what? She thought I was complaining when in actuality I was bragging, which is funny because it makes her a hypocrite. Because she was actually like saying it she was scolding me for complaining about the fact that I have a black person. But I wasn't complaining, I was bragging. So the fact that she thought I was complaining proves that she herself was racist against black people, in the fact that she felt that she needed to defend them. So I found that whole situation kind of oddly amusing. And what's crazier is I think she kind of held it against me, because she was cold to me after that. So it's like, oh God, this is so hypocritical. You're mad at me for being racist, when in actuality you were the one that made the racist comment, not me. I was bragging and you were getting offended because you thought I was insulting them, because you just assumed that that's how someone would naturally react having a black person on their tour, is with negativity, when in fact I was, you know, how many times did I explain that? 3 times? 4 times? M13, master over-explainer. Yeah, so I got 2 black guests on this tour. And then another interesting thing that I'm finding is happening with my tours is more and more Americans are coming. I don't know if that's because your economy is improving or what, but in the beginning it was like 1 American, 2 Americans, and then the other 6 would be like England and the rest of Europe. And then this tour, it's like, out of the 7 guests, I think 6 of them are Americans, and then 1 is Canadian. So it's like, what? I don't even have a single European, which is odd. Because, you know, I put a lot of stock into statistics and what, you know, like statistical averages. And for the first while, all my tours were very similar. It was like 1 or 2 Americans, 2 British, maybe one Canadian, and then like 2 people from like Scandinavia. And it was very predictable like that. And then now it's just all Americans. It's like, what? It's like, what? So, yeah. On the last tour where we had the one black guy, everybody makes fun of everybody on my tours, but he's black, so we were making black jokes about him. And the black jokes are all, you know, they're good, clean jokes. It was, you know, good-hearted humor, kind-hearted, I don't know. All in good taste, whatever. Just, you know, nice racist jokes as opposed to bad racist jokes. Anyways, and then we had one guy on the tour who didn't know where the line is, you know, between good and bad racist jokes. And it's like, I'd be making a joke like, you know, like we'd be looking at bicycles or something, and then the black guy's like, yeah, we should rent them. And I'm like, no, because a black guy on a bicycle will get pulled over. I don't know, like I was just making these little, you know, jokes about stuff like that. And then we had this one American guy who was just be like, you know, I'm making these little kind of subtle black jokes, and then we had this one guy on the tour who was just like, yeah, black women are whores. It's just like, what the fuck? It's just face palm. It's like, it's just like, and then what was it? Like, I would make a joke like, how many food stamps did you need? How many food stamps did you have to save up before you could afford the flight out here, or something like that? And then the American would be like, he'd be like, yeah, black people are monkeys. And I'm like, oh god. It's like, what the fuck? I remember at one point I said to the black guy, I'm like, you can punch the American out. Like, I will not mind. You know, nobody here will be offended if you just like drop him. And it was just like, oh. So, you know, and it's, you know, and meanwhile, the black guy, he was like an engineer with university degrees, and he was like, he had better income than the rest of the group, so, and I already knew these facts, so my jokes were just like lighthearted little, you know, between friends, kidding. And then the American guy, he was joking too, he just didn't know where the line was, man. Here, have a banana, monkey boy. It's just like, oh god, that's not cool, man. It was, but anyways, somebody's offended. But this, first of all, it wasn't me saying those comments. My comments were much more lighthearted, and I got along very well with the black guy. And he's coming back. He says he's going to come back again next year. So, if you've got a problem with me now, then that's actually a problem with yourself, because the guy that I was making the jokes with was perfectly fine with it, and he's going to do my tour again next year. So, and the offensive comments weren't made by me. I'm just quoting them and laughing at them. But I'm not laughing at I'm laughing at the guy who said them. And he said he's going to come again in a year or two too. So hello to him if he's watching.